Oh, beautiful Freedom family. I have brought you deep into the Lytton Frith, the forest here at Cressbrookdale. And I have some really, really good news. Now, I haven't made a video for some time. That either means one of two things. Firstly, that I've had a YouTube strike, which I haven't had one of those for a long time, actually. And the second reason is because I have things kind of bubbling in the kitchen. So this good news has been percolating for probably 2 months now. And it came to its conclusion yesterday, 26th of July. And I'm just super excited and delighted. Oh, and there goes Kobe. Lost Kobe. Let's take a breath. It's quite steep to get up here. So I've been walking up through the woods. Come on, that's it. Yay. Oops. He's a bit out of breath. So, the good news. Now, I need to set the scene for this good news. And you may know some of this saga, but it might help just to recap. So this whole Cressbrookdale estate adventure, it started in January 2021 actually. Yeah, January 2021 through the People Speak Out, because a lot of people were talking about the idea of gathering in community and buying land together. And so I created an initiative called the Inner Sanctum, which was kind of like a database and a Telegram group. And out of it spun various community projects. There was one in Scotland, one in Wales, one down in Sussex. And the one that I said that I would lead would be in the Peak District, which is where I live. And I needed somewhere which was close to my home in Bakewell. And yeah, because I'm quite tied there because of the boys and their schools, and yeah, all their friends are in Bakewell, so that was a kind of non-negotiable for me, that we had to do something which was close to Bakewell. We gathered together a community and we started to look for land, and we found a farm near Roseley, and we got really, really far into that process, and there were 33 of us in that community, and right at the last minute we had to pull out because there were issues around the access rights to that farm, which were owned by Lord Edward Manners, and he actually said outright that he would block anything we tried to do with that land. And I don't know if you know anything about property, but you know, it's really good to own the access rights to your land, otherwise it can be very, very problematic. So we pulled out of it at the last minute, and basically that community pretty much collapsed. But there was a small group of women, actually 9 ladies, and we said, well, let's just keep the dream alive, and let's just keep praying and visioning and setting intentions. And we, you may know this story, but on the autumn equinox of 2021, we'd been on a shamanic retreat in Snowdonia, and we decided the next day to take an offering from the altar up to 9 Ladies Stone Circle, which is in Stanton in the Peak, Stanton Moor. And we went up there and made these offerings, and we sang songs, and we made prayers and set intentions. And literally, magically, a few weeks later, we were offered the opportunity to acquire Cressbrookdale from Stanton Estate. And it wasn't on the market. It literally came out of the ether via one of the members of our Bakewell stand in the park. And it wasn't actually until January that we managed to get the map and to actually walk the land. As we walked the land in January, when it was like, literally, it was a mud bath here because there were cows that had grazed over the winter. And but anyway, it was just so stunning. I mean, it is so stunning here. It's now in its full glory of all of its foliage, but you can imagine looking at in winter that all of these trees were completely bare. But we just thought, wow, what a magical place. And we just thought, we have to do this. We have to find a way to acquire it. Our community had kind of dissolved by that point, so we knew we'd have to sort of go back out and resurrect the community. And obviously it was a very different proposition here because there's no farmhouse. Anyway, because I knew from the whole Phalange Farm project that, let me put it like this, it takes time to build a community. So what we did is we negotiated with Stanton Estate to pay the agreed consideration across 3 instalments. So although we acquired the whole of the 73 acres here on exchange completion in June 2022, we agreed to pay the monies by 2 further instalments. So we paid a first instalment, and then there was a second and a third due. And of course, as soon as we acquired this land, kind of all hell broke loose with the local authorities and the local villagers. And so although we had this kind of first wave of our community in place, we thought, well, we've just got to put the whole thing on ice. And what we actually did, because there's flies around here, it's because it's been raining. What we actually did was we just decided actually that we would just bide our time and sit it out. And obviously a lot of the people in our community are kind of used to working with energy work and shamanic work. We just set an intention for the whole situation to be resolved for the highest good of all concerned. 3 women at the core of it, Angela, Mog and myself. Mog had already been doing a kind of chanting every morning with Lucidia and Raphael. And so Angela and I, just last October, we just decided to join this chanting circle. So every morning for sort of 40 minutes, we're still doing it every morning for like 6 days a week. We go online and we chant 3 mantras and just invoking great spirit and higher powers and really letting go and letting God. And then of course earlier this year, I think probably around about the time when the Love Party was founded and I stood for election, the local campaign against us decided to kind of go for the jugular and do all these kind of crazy tabloid, ridiculous, nonsensical articles that were run about, particularly about me, and just hit pieces really to try to diss me and damage my reputation, calling me all sorts of names, and it was just really horrible actually. And the beautiful thing was that as a direct result of all of this hatred, because there has been a hate campaign against us by the local villagers. I mean, not all of them, some of them are really sweet and have actually come up to me and said, look, Rachel, we don't mind you being here at all. And I know lots of our community have had beautiful conversations with the walkers who've come through here and people who've lived here. But there is a hardcore element that is very angry and bitter and like wants to fight to the end. Can I hear something stirring? Maybe it's some deer. Just give you a little view here. The forest. It's quite incredible. I'm sitting in a little kind of stone circle, a natural stone circle, right high up in the forest. Anyway, back to the story. So Adrian at Stanton Estate was so kind of outraged at the horrific way that I'd been treated. I actually went to, I arranged a meeting to go and see him and to basically just say, look, you know, this is not what we planned or expected. And, you know, I don't think that we can meet your second and third instalments. So, you know, we're just going to have to work out a resolution to this. And basically, to cut a long story short, the resolution we agreed by way of really by way of kind of compensation for the shit show, particularly that I'd had to endure, and just the nightmare scenario that was unfolding. Basically, Stanton Estate agreed to lift all of the charges, no further monies due. They agreed to extend the piece of land that we owned outright from just the 33 acres at Lytton Frith all the way, an extra 17 acres. So basically what that means is that we own the whole of Lytton Frith now, from the Trinity House all the way to the northern border. And we also negotiated to acquire the whole of the entrance track, so owning the entrance was a very key thing for us. As well as the Ravensdale Spring and the Ravensdale Woods, which is where the Sacred Grove is, which is, I've done a lot of filming down there. It's a very beautiful sacred grove where the Ravensdale Springs are. So this is the amazing thing, and we agreed this, and it's taken about 8 weeks for the paperwork to be finalised. But basically, yesterday morning, it was completed. So all of the charges are lifted. We don't owe any further monies on this land. We own it outright, about 50 acres of the most amazing, beautiful, well-resourced land with loads of natural wood. Obviously it's all ancient protected woodland, but there's loads of fallen wood. Obviously there's natural springs here, the Ravensdale Springs, and lots of very abundant fertile spaces. So it's just the most incredible outcome. And of course what it means is, what we did was we cut loose of the remaining 20 acres and gave it back to Stanton. So and you know, they are gonna, I believe, it's up to them what they do with that land, but I believe they're going to do the honourable thing and offer it to the local people again for the second time, because it was offered apparently, allegedly, to the local people before we acquired it. Or certainly some of the local people were offered the opportunity, but they declined. So the local Crestbrook villagers have got the opportunity to put their money where their mouth is and to acquire the land which is in the village itself, which is adjacent to where their homes are. So it's a beautiful outcome. I feel it's an absolutely beautiful and most amazing outcome. And so, having closed the doors of our community last autumn, so those of you who were wanting to join, we had to say, like, we're just going to close the doors. we just can't do anything at the current time. We're just going to have to close the doors and put everything on ice. So we're now opening the doors of the community. So if you've been following the story, if you love Crestbrookdale as much as we do, then you know, please get in touch if you want to get involved. We've created an absolutely fabulous new website. Angela and Mog are both creative geniuses. And so they've created an amazing website called lovecrestbrookdale.com. So I'm going to put the link below this video. I'll put it on the screen as well. So, and that basically, lovecrestbrookdale.com tells our side of the story. I mean, you may well have seen the local people's website, which is just pure propaganda, pure hatred, really. So we've created the lovecrestbrookdale.com site just to give a little bit of balance and just to explain our side of the story. If you are interested in becoming part of our community, getting involved, then please do let us know. There's a sign-up form on the website, although I tested it this morning and I think one of the links was broken. But I will put the email address below this video where you can just drop us a line. Or it may be, I did ask Angela and Mog to sort out the form on the site. It may be that that's working now and you can register your interest there. And you'll also see on the site our ethos as well, which was originally written by Charles Eisenstein. And it's really important, if you want to get involved in our community, that you do read that ethos and you resonate with it, because we have got a core of our community who is beautiful and committed and absolutely, you know, we are rock solid. We're like a family, and it's really beautiful. It's a really beautiful core group. And if I had to describe that group of people, I would say they are loving, kind, supportive, absolute solidarity, totally awake, totally aware of the program that's unfolding. They're totally part of the freedom movement, and they're also completely aware and embracing of common law rights, because our community was based, or is based, on common law. It was set up on common law principles. It was beautifully set up. With a lot of thought went into the way that we set up our community. It is a private members association, so it is no form of any kind of legal entity. It's not a company or a trust or a social enterprise. It is a private members association, and it's a very, very ingenious setup, which was created by an amazing common law expert. Yeah, so it's a wonderful feeling to have that burden lifted of not having any debt or charges overhanging this land anymore. So, as I say, we now own the whole of Lytton Frith Farm outright, all 50 acres of it, including this amazing forest, this amazing enchanted forest. And the beautiful thing is as well, just to touch on the feng shui, because we have changed the layout, we've kind of cut loose of, essentially sold some parts of the land, given them back to Stanton in consideration of lifting the charges. What it means is the Tai Chi, the heart of the land, has moved. It used to be in the Ravensdale Spring, the Tai Chi was in the Ravensdale Spring, and if you know anything about feng shui, it's not ideal to have water or fire in your Tai Chi. It's much better to have earth, because it is the center. So it's beautiful because it's changed the feng shui of the land. It's moved the Tai Chi into an amazing space of solid limestone, rock, earth. And so it's enhanced the feng shui. So it's a very, very beautiful and amazing deal. One other incredible thing, because we've found that as we've developed a relationship with the land, we spent a lot of time here, we've journeyed here, done a lot of work on the land, restoration work, and we've done a lot of honouring of this land. She's revealed more and more of herself to us. And one of the amazing things that we've discovered, we discovered initially a limestone reservoir, and we've now discovered that there's a building on the land, a huge building just above the limestone reservoir. So this is one of our next projects, is to uncover those foundations, which we'll do in the autumn winter. We're going to uncover the foundations to that building and see what we suspect that the walls have fallen into the foundations. So we're going to see how the land lies, and very possibly restore that building next spring. So it's an amazing project and full of magic and possibility. And if it resonates, and if you want to get involved with the community, then please do let us know, and email us on the email below, or fill out the Become a Friend form on the website, and that will get you onto the database so you get automatic updates. So sending you so much love, and this is a very happy Rachel, over and out from Crestbrookdale. Lots of love.